with Tom and Abbey.
Vibing with Tom and Abbey. You go, girl.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to the second episode of Vibing with Tom and Abbey.
Yep, we are here. Second episode. We have got some very exciting stuff coming up this week.
Very
But
exciting.
before we get started, how was your week, Abbey?
It was a good week. It was actually a really good week. It went really fast.
Yeah.
Long weekend.
Yep. What'd you get up to?
I studied for like 12 hours straight. And
Fair
then I had a
enough.
massive headache.
Fair enough.
What about you?
I just worked. Got public holiday rates. You know how it is.
My work was shut. But
Always
that's all
love
right.
that double pay. It's always good. And yeah, just studied college yesterday. Good bit of fun.
Yeah. So, what do we have this week, Tom?
This week we have a segment we're starting up, which is, we call it the secret sound, where we play a little clip of a song, and the first person to comment on our YouTube video or message our Instagram account with the name of the song and who the song's by will win a prize. All right, so we're going to have the song playing now.
Guiding me all of my days.
Did
all
you
right.
know what it was?
Did you know what it was?
Did you know what it was?
We'll play it again.
Will we?
We'll play that same clip again.
Guiding me all of my days.
All right, I hope you guys got it. You can listen to it as many times as you want to try to get it. Shouldn't be too hard. First person to message through will win a prize.
And what are we talking about this week, Tom?
This week we've got an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about anxiety.
Anxiety.
Anxiety, yeah.
Anxiety. And to go with this, we have a very, very special guest with us today, Angie.
Hello.
Hey Angie, how was your week?
My week was interesting. I actually had a cold, so I wasn't at work, and today's my first day back.
Welcome back.
Good way to start the week then.
Thank you.
All right,
All right.
well, we've got a few different questions for you. Angie is a
Professional
professional
counsellor.
counsellor. But we're going to start off simply with what is anxiety?
Okay, anxiety. And the simplest way that I can explain it is when you're feeling really scared, really fearful about something that is coming, about something that is going to happen, about something you're not confident with, something that you're not sure if you can do. Like, I actually experienced anxiety this morning when I realised that I was going to talk to you guys and I didn't feel prepared. So what did I do? I emailed and said, I haven't been here all week. I think I need more time. And so I sent that email, and then I thought, I'm anxious. We're talking about anxiety. Maybe I should take my own advice and calm myself down. So I emailed Thomas again and said, look, I may not be as prepared as I'd like, but I'm going to come and we'll just do the best that we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. That's awesome.
Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
that
does.
answers it.
And I'm coming off that, I guess, for a young person that's listening that maybe has experienced a bit of feeling anxious, which is quite normal. I think we've all felt anxious in our time. What would you say, and obviously without any diagnosing people or anything, what is the difference between maybe just feeling anxious or actually having an anxiety disorder that is something that needs to be helped and sort
For
of...
sure. I think it's good that you made that distinction. The first sort is feeling anxious is exactly what happened to me this morning that hopefully most people can relate to. It's happened to most people most of the time, where there's something coming up and you're not sure if you can do it, or you don't want to make a fool of yourself, or you don't want people to think you're silly or dumb or ugly or things like that. You know, it's not usually, you're not usually feeling anxious if you're confident and happy.
Yeah.
So if you're really confident about something, you usually don't experience anxiety. So anxiety comes when you're not too sure.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The other sort, like there are some people who, you know, tend to feel anxiety even without a reason. So if, like when I knew that I was coming this morning and I didn't feel prepared, that was an event, right? Yes. And I knew that at this time I'd have to talk about anxiety, and that later on in the day I was going to go back to my office and do my normal job, which I feel confident with, so that doesn't give me anxiety. The other sort is you have no idea why you're feeling really scared, really anxious, really uncomfortable, really, you know, you're jittery, and different people have different manifestations or, you know, ways of feeling anxiety. And for that, if it happens a lot over a long period of time, then what I would do is definitely say go to the doctor, talk to someone who's wise. I wouldn't just talk to someone who's very young and doesn't know much about it. I mean, that could even help a little bit, come to think of it. But I would talk to somebody who has got some experience, a pastor, a doctor, a counsellor, a psychologist, because they're trained, they've got some training, and they can help to give you strategies about, the way that you think about things, the way that if you haven't learned how to be resilient in certain areas that you're anxious about. Remember, I said it's usually when you're not comfortable doing something. Well, I would go and see a professional.
Yep.
And even sometimes if you see a doctor, they may give you a little bit of medicine just for a period of time to help you, because if a medicine takes the edge off the anxious feelings, then you can start to think more calmly.
Yeah.
And then you can put into place new strategies. And then as you learn better strategies and ways to manage the anxiety, I'm not saying it'll go away completely. It might. But if it doesn't, you learn to manage it and just do life with it anyway. Lots of people do life with anxiety, even myself at times.
Yeah.
That's why I can relate to it.
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's what I would do. And then when you feel comfortable and more confident, because self-confidence is very important. And when you start to feel that and you decide with your doctor, then you can just start to come off the medication gradually and just do your new you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
managing
awesome.
anxiety.
That's awesome.
So it's sort of, if you feel like your anxiety is a bit, not just I've got something coming up, I'm feeling anxious. If you feel like it's a all the time thing, you definitely should seek a doctor, a counsellor, or someone who can help you put strategies in place, maybe get you on a little bit of medication for a period of time to help calm you down and be able to clear your mind and just figure out what can help you not feel as anxious.
That's 100% correct. Well
Lovely.
done.
Now, thinking from a Christian perspective, a lot of young people, like the Bible tells us not to be anxious and not to sort of, like, we don't want to live like that. That's not an abundant life and those sorts of things. So if a young person maybe feels like because they can't control that, like, would you say, but if someone is thinking that having anxiety is making them a bad Christian, what would your response be to that? As if they can't, like, they're not managing it individually.
Sure. Here's what I've got to say. No.
That's good, yeah.
That's good.
I know what Philippians, you're talking about the scripture that says, fear not or be anxious for nothing.
Yeah.
And with prayer and thanksgiving, make your requests known to the Lord.
Yeah.
Something like that. Sorry if I got it a bit wrong. That is correct. It is in the Bible. But what I think God is saying there is that don't live with it. As soon as you feel those anxious feelings, you can do something about it in the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
You may not have a psychologist handy.
Yeah.
So what can you do? And God says, talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Talk to
That's
me.
awesome.
I'm here. I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So even when there's people can't help you and you don't know what to do for yourself, this is something sound that you can do.
Yeah.
Because right in the moment you can say, oh, Lord, I'm feeling anxious. Try to figure out why, like, if possible. Sometimes you can't. But you can say, I'm feeling really anxious. Lord, help me. Thank you that you've gotten me through difficult times before. And Father, I just pray that you would just be with me and just help me through this anxiety, help me through this panic attack, help me through whatever it is that you're going through
Yeah.
in the moment. That's biblical.
Yeah.
So as long as you know that and you know that you can do that at a moment's notice, action is a cure for anxiety.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I
When
do
you're
now.
scared about something and you do nothing except lay in your bed, sit in your chair and just panic and feel scared and go, oh, I have to do that interview. Oh, I don't know what's wrong. Or I'm feeling this way. I'm shaky. And you just stay in that place and do nothing. You will continue to be anxious.
Yeah.
But if you do something like the first thing, recognize it and go, oh, Lord, help me. That's the biblical thing.
Yeah.
But then learn some other strategies as well, you know? And we can go into that when you ask me those questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So, like, again, going back to feeling anxious, what should you do when you're feeling anxious but you can't really see, like, a reason behind it? Like, there's nothing coming up. Is there any, like, little strategies I can do at home or before something that can really, I guess, suppress those anxious feelings so that I'm not as anxious as I once was?
Yeah, but don't forget that I did mention that if you continue to feel anxious for no reason,
Yeah.
you should really consult somebody
see
for
someone, yeah.
help. But if you're once you recognise those feelings that you're starting to feel scared and you're not sure why, or that you know something's coming up, you know, sometimes it can be like a test at school,
Yeah.
an exam. It can be something like, you know, sometimes people can say nasty things on social media and then you're scared that everyone's seen it or knows something about you, or that it may not even be true, you know, and you feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So what do you do? Well, yeah, what do you do? Number one, if you're a Christian, you would take that to God
Yeah.
and ask for his guidance and his help. But then if you're feeling like you're really shaky, you can't breathe properly, you feel faint, you feel strange, they're physical manifestations that you can learn to control. So the first thing that happens is when you almost like hyperventilating, you know, you're sort of shallow breathing and you can't get a breath. You can't. So that's when you need to just slow it down and just slowly fill your lungs up with as much air as possible. Just hold it for a bit and then let it down. That starts to calm your system down, and you do that gently, but you really fill up your lungs with air. And you stop that cycle of that shallow breathing where you can't catch a breath.
Yeah.
And that really helps it's called the parasympathetic nervous system, something like that. But I didn't want to use those big words, but it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Also, what's important is how you speak to yourself.
Yes.
You know, self-talk. So learn to reassure yourself that even though you're feeling that way, that you'll be okay.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you have such a feeling of dread that you feel like you won't get through it. And so you have to speak. It's a lie. That's
Yeah.
not true. Okay? So unless you're just about to faint because you can't breathe, and then you need to go to the emergency room or something where they can help you. But other than that, you can say to yourself, I remember other times when I felt this way and I've come through it. I will get through this as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really
Remind yourself that this will pass. And then if that's there's a number of things, you know. Sometimes I say to people, where's a place in the world where you felt happy, where it's like you'd like to be there right now? Like for me, it's the beach. I think about the blue sky, the warm sand, the blue water. Of course, there's palm trees in my vision, and that seems to calm me down.
Yeah.
For other people, they've said, oh, I like trees and rivers and forests, and so their happy place is there. So one person said, I just like being in my room and watching something or reading a book or whatever and being under my doona. I said, okay, that's valid.
Yeah.
Whatever it is for you, you just go to that place in your mind. Once again, I'm talking about self-help. This is what you can do without other people around. When there's no one that you trust around, what can you do? So you do your deep breathing, you pray. Because once you do your deep breathing, there's a bit of space in your head. You've actually got oxygen in your brain, and so then you can remind yourself, oh, I can pray. So that's the first thing that I would do. And then the other things, that whatever works, you know, going to your safe place, imagining yourself there. You can, sometimes I do like a progressive relaxation where I I might just scrunch up my toes and then just let them go,
Yeah.
and then do the same with my
Yeah.
ankles
Yeah.
and my knees. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is so
Definitely.
relaxing.
It is.
So what you're wanting to do with these little techniques is to take you from a place of fear and panic to a place of relaxation.
Yeah.
So anything that you do that helps you to relax will take away the difficulties of those anxious feelings that seem like you can't cope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. If you're at school in the classroom, some of these things you can't do, like listen to music, because you get in trouble, apparently. You can't go and play with your pets because you're not allowed to bring them to school.
Yeah, I
So
wish.
some of these don't apply. But, you know, if you're at home and you're feeling this way, listen to your favourite music. Go outside. See if you can get some fresh air. And long term, if you eat less junk food, and eat things like fruits and veggies, you
Yeah.
know, good wholesome
Yeah.
foods.
Yeah.
That will help, believe it or not. What you put into your tummy actually affects your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So feed it well as often as possible.
Yeah.
Go for a walk out
Yeah.
in the fresh air. If it's raining and you just want to dance around, put some music on. I have been known to do that, but don't tell anyone. So if you can, I know this sounds obvious, but try not to take any drugs or drink alcohol or even caffeine.
Yeah.
Even caffeine can stimulate your anxiety
Yeah.
if you're prone to it.
I just got a 4-shot coffee in my hand, so we'll move on from that one. No,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really important things, and as an early high schooler myself, I struggled a lot with anxiety, and what you said about like a safe place, I remember a solid 3 years of my life where I just felt anxious for no reason, and what I used to do was I used to sing to myself, I think it's Bob Marley, every little thing is going to be all right, and I would sing that over and over in my head for years, and it would always calm me down because I knew that was my safe place, and so I think there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah, in that moment, that is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you take the edge off, as I said, if it's happening a lot,
Yeah, of course.
do something about it.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through it every now and then, and some people more than others. And I can't tell you why. It's nothing you're doing wrong. Just some people are a bit more susceptible. But we can get some help
Yeah, we can.
and manage it. Yeah.
So sort of going off of that, what would you say to like a young person that is feeling anxious about like one certain situation? Like maybe every morning going to school is a really anxious thing for them. Like what if there's this one situation and every time that certain thing happens, they are experiencing overwhelming anxiety and those sorts of things?
Yeah. Look, once again, my short answer is action.
Yeah.
So you need to do something that will break that cycle. And if it's about like going to school, well, at some point we've got to try and work out, what is it about going to school that makes you anxious? Is it that you're not having good relationships or good connections with people, which is really important?
Definitely.
To feel like you belong, and that everyone wants to feel like they're accepted and liked and belong, you know,
Yeah.
and getting along with people.
Yeah.
It's biblical. You're not supposed to live on your own all the
Yeah.
time. You know,
Yeah.
You're supposed to be with others. And so if you can work out, is it the schoolwork? Is it something like I remember my daughter, she hated going to school. And you know what it was? The poor kid suffered dyslexia. So she would struggle with the written word, and she couldn't read or write or spell properly. And so she felt like there was something wrong with her. And when we worked this out, an amazing teacher, God bless him, helped us to work it out. And she had some proper testing, and I took her to different places to get help. Her self-esteem improved, and those anxious and panicky thoughts reduced considerably. So do something to work out what is causing the anxiety, and sometimes if it's like, teachers or something, you may need just to talk to them about it, or get Angie to talk to the teacher about, I can help in that situation here at Victory anyway. And So you can work out what the cause is, and if there isn't a cause, that's once again, when you don't know, that's when you could really benefit from some professional help.
Yeah.
That I think it'd be good. Even like, if you can't, just see the chaplain or somebody at school that can help to guide you, you know. Yeah, does that answer your question?
That
that's
does.
really
That's good.
yeah.
So we're just moving on to our final question, and this is, what are panic attacks, and what are some strategies I can do to prevent them?
Oh, wow, that's a big one. A panic attack. You know, some people suddenly feel like overwhelmed. It's similar to anxiety, but on steroids.
Yeah.
Like they feel like they're not coping in that moment. The fight or flight or freeze reflex kicks in, and you either want to run away or you just want to be invisible, and you're just not coping. And once again, it's similar to the strategies that we've talked about already. As soon try to do your breathing. So those two things work well. No, those things work well for both of those things.
Yeah.
Whether it's that general scared feeling or whether you're really feeling panic.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's a panic attack. It's like so intense that you just can't think of anything else. Your brain is shut down, okay?
Yeah.
As in your logical brain. You can't think,
Yeah.
right? So that's when you need to get some oxygen into you.
Yep.
Try really hard to reassure yourself, and then talk to someone about it.
Yep.
Some people experience these a lot, and once again, maybe some professional conversations might be good and helpful. Certain therapies are particularly good for panic attacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And see if you can maybe even talk to your friends about, if they notice that you've sort of spaced or looking terrified or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to say it's okay.
Yeah.
You just need someone that you know cares and that can just help you through it sometimes.
Sometimes you just need a reminder that it is going to be okay.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably lots more I could
Yeah.
say on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the main things, get around people. It's okay to let people know that you suffer from these things. Trusted people, like once someone's earned your trust that you feel comfortable sharing, it's good to have people
Yeah, it
around
is.
you who can help you. And if you need to talk to a parent or you want someone to talk to your parents for you, or see a doctor, definitely.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow, that's thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
in
thank
and
you so
talking about
much.
those things. I know there are a lot of questions that young people have, and there's not a lot of good information out there, especially from a Christian perspective on how
That's
to deal with these problems and how to overcome this, and that it is normal to feel this way, that most people that you come by do feel this way. It's very,
Yeah,
very
definitely.
normal. And so thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you so
in,
much.
for chatting to us about this, even when you felt anxious.
Yeah.
It was really, really great to have a chat
Amazing.
to you and to talk about these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all
and
right.
I hope that was helpful for somebody.
Definitely would have been, definitely. All right, so next podcast, we are looking to do something on finance. So we're going to try to do the best ways for a young person to spend, save, and invest their first job income. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that next podcast, and we will see you then.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
You go, girl.